pounded, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
And a good rainy Thursday morning. It is the Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, 1240 AM, KADS, the Sports Animal. Jared Atha filling in for Aaron Cowk on this Thursday morning. He is supposedly golfing. I don't think that's happening, but he's probably still out there hanging out, hoping for any kind of break in the weather where he can get that done. It's really for a cool cause. He's out there with the Oak City Fire Department in their golf tournament that I think it's like the third year in a row they put this on, maybe longer. And
second, isn't it?
Second, is it been? I thought it's been longer, but I think last year was the first time.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I might be wrong.
Success last year, so they're going to try it again today, and hopefully they can get at least 9 in at this rate. But no one's complaining about this rain. That voice you heard was Jimmy Clark. He knows very well how valuable rain is.
I'm filling in for Jared Athan, by the way.
That's how it's working. We're just all playing musical chairs here. But hey, thanks for coming in, helping me out. Appreciate you. Hey, don't forget the show is recorded. We put it in podcast form at all your podcast services, iTunes, Amazon Music. The list goes on and on. You can find a replay of this show, or just go to KADSAM.com, or just follow us on Facebook. We like to put a link on the show on there as well. You can get everything on the Paragon app. Hey, jumping right into it, our first guest, or our only guest today, is head coach of the Elk City Big Elk football team, head coach Zach Maynard, coming off a successful season last year, already prepping for next season. I'm sure that prep never stops as soon as the season's over last year. And there was supposed to be a big spring football game tonight, but obviously that's probably not going to happen, Coach, right?
Right. No, we decided just to cancel all that today, and felt like we had a good enough spring and didn't want to risk getting out there and you know, getting all muddy and somebody getting hurt and injured. So just decided that right now, with as well as it's gone so far, we're in a good place. We can just stop right now. All
right. Well, I prepped for this interview on the preface that there was going to be a spring game, so all my questions are thrown out. So thanks for coming in.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, seriously, how has the offseason gone? I mean, I'm sure it never stops for a head coach. You're probably always thinking forward, moving, like, what do we do next year to get better and stuff like that. So how is an offseason for you? What does that entail?
I mean, it just weights and trying to get kids to grow up and, you know, got to groom a whole new group of leaders and you know, kind of in the same boat as last year. Last year we had to, you know, the year before, 2021, I think, we had, 18 seniors and then, you know, obviously we had to find a way to create the group that we had last year to get some leadership out of them. You know, and that's where we're at right now. We're trying to find the guys who are going to lead and do it the right way and lead the football team. And so, you know, obviously we got to grow through that. It's a growing process, but, you know, it's always fun this time of year because you can see where you could possibly end up if you find some leadership and the ball rolls your way once or twice. And so it's just an exciting time, really. It's an exciting time to be around the football program.
Yeah, you mentioned the seniors from the year before. There was a lot of them, and that was a successful run. And then you were able to fill those voids left, big voids too, left by that talented senior bunch with the group that you had last year, and almost replicate the success that was there that year before. And then, of course, did what this past year did, going all the way to the semifinal again. And now there's, you know, before last year, and this is a kind of a common thing that I've seen. I'm not sure you do it, but I do it as a media guy. I'm looking at the message boards. I'm looking at what all the chatter, you know, what do people think? What's going to happen to Big Elks? And the same thing I heard going into last year was, oh, well, they lost the big senior class. They'll be okay, but they won't compete for the district. And then kind of the same things being said. Oh, well, they lost a lot off that team that went far last year. Are you seeing that? Is that a motivational tool that you're using?
Oh, well, there's always motivation from things like that. You know, everybody's going to say that. People who are from the outside looking in every year is going to go, well, they lost this kid or that kid or this group of seniors. And for me, it's not about that. We want to build something sustainable. That goes on for a long time. And if you look at the guys that I played for, Coach Weber at Davis, and knowing Coach Roof and kind of the way that they did things, that was sustainable throughout whatever group of kids they had. And so, obviously that's what we're trying to get to. It's what we want to be about. And I feel like we've got a great chance of doing that, opportunity to do that again this year. Obviously we've got to get better. We're not ready to go win a district title right now, but do we have the opportunity? Yes. And we're excited about that. Our kids they relish the opportunity, and none of this happens overnight. That's kind of what we talked about yesterday. In order for this to happen and get back to the semifinals or go further, it takes a lot of work, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to come easy just because we've done it 2 years in a row. There's a process that has to be followed to get it done, and so far, this group of kids we've got right now have been up to that challenge.
Good programs, they don't rebuild, they reload.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you just told me, that's what's happening. There's a reload process to it, but with that sustained success is what we're seeing. And all that banter that I've read, I laugh at it, I giggle at it, because I think, like I said, good programs like what you got here in Oak City reload. So looking forward to how you're going to reload and looking at that results in the fall. So how's that process gone? How is I'm always curious, because back 20 plus years ago I knew there was spring practices. There was no such thing as a spring game at the high school level. I know you're going to attempt it today, but weather proved otherwise. But what are you allowed to do when it comes to spring practice, and what's the OSSA is allowing you to do?
Basically, you get 10 practices within a certain amount of days, and I think we only did 4 or 5, just running around, installing a few things, seeing what it looks like. But that's kind of you get 10 days, and you can have one team camp. You have 10 spring practices, which is be called spring football, and then one team camp, or you can do 2 team camps. And so, that's kind of the rules. Some people really like spring football. Some people don't even do it at all. And we just kind of, as a staff, kind of sat down and said, well, there's a couple of things we need to look at and see if we can take it into the fall, instead of, going into fall camp with it and going, well, this ain't going to work, and then wasting time on it. So that's kind of what we wanted to do this spring, and the kids knew that. And so we wanted to look at some things that we thought benefited our kids in a different way than last year. So that's really all we used it for.
At the 4A level and lower, there's I don't know if it's a problem. It's a good thing to have. You got multi-sport stars, and baseball had a great season this past season, and they were really focused on that. Do you have to wait till they're done? Do you do it at the same time? How does that work?
Yeah. So as far as USSA goes, you can't start spring practice until the final sport in your school is done.
Okay.
That's the rule. And as far as like the multi-sport athlete, I want our kids to play everything and help everything. And, obviously, Coach McClure and the baseball team was outstanding this year. And they've got that thing rolling too. I assume they'll be outstanding again next year, and which is awesome. It's a great time to be a part of Elk City Public Schools, and academically, it's a top-notch school, and it's just a great place to be, real honest. So it's been a lot of fun to be here and be a part of all the great things that are going on with the school system.
So what's your summer look like? What are you allowed to do in the summer? I know the 7-on-7 thing is a thing that's getting popular, but that doesn't – I was thinking about last night. That doesn't really fall into your brand of offense to take out 7 guys and go throw it around against another school. So what do you do?
Well, we'll do some of that for defense, and we may try to throw it a little more this year. And so we'll do some of that, but as far as, going all over God's green earth and playing 7-on-7, that's just really not my cup of tea. We'll probably host a couple things out here on the practice field once or twice a week. But other than that, we're just going to lift weights and get bigger, faster, stronger, and hopefully get, mentally and physically tougher.
Had some key positions that you'll have to fill between, since the last game and up until fall camp. I'm sure those haven't been decided yet because you want to keep those guys going. Is that the process, how that works?
Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to win a state championship in May. So those position battles will clear up to the fall and through fall camp and maybe even into the first couple games of the season. I mean, I think we did that last year. And, those people who want to win those jobs eventually, the cream will always rise to the top, and we'll figure out exactly who those guys are.
Looking ahead to next fall, just peeking into the schedule, just off the top of my mind, I'm going to Canadian Texas. We had a classic with them last year, hosting Carl Albert, a perennial favorite in the 5A level. I believe Altus is still on that schedule.
Altus still on the schedule.
I mean, some formidable opponents outside of even the district, of course, of the Clinton and Weatherfords. It should be a challenge. No,
it's a great schedule. We'll have when we get into district play, we'll know exactly who we are, kind of like last year, and hopefully we can figure out the best 11 guys on offense and defense and be able to be, when we get into district play, be battle tested and know exactly our strengths and our weaknesses and make a run at another district title is the plan.
Head coach Zach Maynard, Big Elk football coach, thanks for being in with us. Again, no spring game tonight, but bright future ahead for the Big Elk football team. Looking forward to it, Coach. Have a good summer.
Yes, sir.
Come see us. Come if you get bored, just pop in.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, take care.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Thanks again to head coach Zach Maynard, Big Elk football head coach. Again, no spring game tonight. Weather having given us some, I don't want to call them problems. When we have plans, sometimes I wish the weather would hold off just a little bit. I do like Jimmy Clark filling in for me over there. I'm filling in for Aaron. Aaron's out golfing. I'm using that term loosely. He's out there, I'm sure, waiting for a break in the rain. But Jimmy, I like the rain that comes in at night. You know what I mean? Just that come, and I was hoping, I saw it came in. It woke me up about 12:45. Checked my radar on the phone, and that might be out of here by morning. Everybody be fine. This is how I want rain. Come in at night, rain everything, rain, and then go and give us a pretty day.
It's moving out. It's almost out of here.
You got a radar up over there?
I do. It's just about done.
Just about done. How about like rain gauges or mesonet? Do you have rain totals?
Yeah, I do.
I know it's a sports show, but
the mesonet.
We want to know.
I'm not looking at the mesonet today because the heavy rains were away from all the mesonets and they weren't gauging them very good this morning. So I went to my radar scope, and my, between Eric and Sayre over there around Hex and along the river over there across the river, they got 3-4 inches down by my place, west of Willow. I always say west of Willow, but I'm actually close to Reed compared to Willow. I got 3 inches down there, and 4 miles away, Reed got 8 inches.
That's incredible.
Incredible. So in north of Elk here, they got 3. I think everybody pretty much got some rain in central western Oklahoma.
Is there such thing as too much rain? Serious question.
Well, here's a serious answer from my grandpa.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
I'd rather wait for it to dry up than wait on the rain.
That's a good point.
There you go.
Great point. I know at my house we have a traditional rain gauge. I have an electronic one, and I failed to look at this morning, but my wife did look at this new rain gauge we put in our front yard. It said 4 inches.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close.
I don't know if some of her watering last night trickled in and she forgot to empty it, but I believe it now that you tell me those totals. So
yeah, they got 3. I talked to Dean Kephart this morning, North Canoe, and
Dean.
He had 2.7. So yeah, it's very possible.
Very possible. And
more on the way.
More on the way in the forecast. In fact, we might look at that later. It's on everybody's mind, and we love all that rain we can get. Hey, baseball, Big 12 baseball tournament started yesterday. It's a couple of upsets. Kansas, I said that fancy. They beat number 1 Texas 6-3, the number 1 seed. It is a double elimination tournament, so they're not done. But Kansas with the shocker to start things off in the day, and it started off with a pretty big play.
Runners going to 3-2. Reeder drives one out toward right field. That's hit well. Dylan Campbell moving back, and that is gone. Grand salami time for Jansen Reeder. 6-2 Kansas.
Texas was able to tack one more on, but again, Kansas wins it 6-3 over the top-ranked Longhorns. Thanks in large part to the grand slam right there from Jansen Reeder. And then it was Bedlam time again. Of course, OSU just a week earlier, not even a week earlier, last weekend, won 2 out of 3 games over OU in Norman to take that official Big 12 series from the Sooners. But I think, and then that kind of set up with OSU being the 2 seed and OU being the 7 seed. That set up a rematch in the Big 12 tournament. And something in the back of my mind, Jimmy, told me that OU might have a chance because something about OU and Skip Johnson in the postseason. We saw it last year.
Yep.
And they've been playing a little better toward down the stretch here. Could they put together something special again? And thanks in large part to some timely hitting and OSU errors, they were able to do just that.
The take over the game type of player.
And he's got a comebacker here, and it's under the glove of Riggio into center field. That'll score another run as Orduño comes in. To third is Clark. It's another RBI base hit for Oklahoma. This one from John Spiker.
John Spikerman, he didn't let him finish there, with the RBI right there. And there were a lot of, I don't know how many without looking at the box score, but there were costly errors committed by OSU. But OU came out and jumped on OSU early, taking advantage of 2 start-the-game walks from OSU. Were able to play a couple runs in that first inning and walk away with it, winning 9-5. And that sets up today's schedule in the Big 12 tournament. Texas and Kansas State in the losers bracket playing right now. They started about 23 minutes ago. Winner advances or stays alive in the Big 12 tournament. Losers going home. And OSU will follow that at 12:30. They play West Virginia. Yet another upset. Number 6 Texas Tech defeated West Virginia 6-2 last night. When that game didn't start to about 9:30.
Right.
I couldn't stay up for it. But I stayed up as long as I could. And Tech was already up 3-0 on them by the second or third inning. Again, they pull away and win it 6-2. So it was nothing but upsets. All the top seeds except for TCU.
Yeah, but they
got an upset. But TCU run-rolled Kansas State, by the way, 16-5 yesterday to start things off in the tournament. So, but that's baseball. You know, sometimes you got your pitching working and your hitting working and everything's working out for you. And that's what happened yesterday for Kansas and OU, namely. And OU again. Now, so that begs the question, can OU go on another magical run that we saw from them last year?
We're gonna see.
Tough ask today, taking on Texas Tech, but it's not like Texas Tech has been dominant like they have been in the past. They are the 6th seed, OU the 7th seed. But they've got to believe after taking down their rivals OSU that maybe they could pull off another upset. So that's happening tonight at 7:30. Hopefully, OSU, when they can play, I mean, when they can put it all together, especially with the pitching, they have hitting. When they can put it together with the pitching, not commit those costly errors like we saw. Uncharacteristic errors, if you ask me.
Yeah, but, I was just looking. OU had 2 errors, too.
Yeah, it's a couple. But that comes with the nature of the game.
Yeah.
But did you have that box up? I don't know. I can effort it. I can effort it right. Yeah.
I had it up. There it is. Yeah.
It's weird. I cannot.
They had the same amount of hits, the whole 9 yards. Both had 2 errors each, and OU just.
But runs off of errors though is what was kind of the difference.
Yes.
And walks. Look up base on balls. Tell me what that was.
Oh, now you're asking a lot. Where's it? Walks. Baby.
This is so weird on this. Where I'm at, it won't let me click on the box score. I think walks were the problem for OSU yesterday.
Yeah.
From what I saw. You put people on, good teams know how to move those runners around and produce some runs.
Well,
Skip Johnson and his staff and his aggressive running style on the base path, that's what got him to the College World Series final last year. I mean, it could possibly take them deep in the postseason this year. But again, tough task with Texas Tech today. 7:30 first pitch on that one. OSU at 12:30 today. By the way, both those clips were courtesy of ESPN.
There you go.
Radio.
Here we go.
You got it?
Walks issued by OSU were 10. OU only had 3, and OU had 2 stolen bases, and OSU didn't have any.
There's that aggressive running I was talking about.
There you go.
10 walks compared to 2?
3.
3? Yeah, you can't have that. You can't win ball games by putting people on base.
Nope.
Like that. So there you go. Okay, we'll jump back to college in just a few.
Let's go hockey.
Hockey was fun last night. The Panthers win in dramatic fashion, 5-4 over Carolina. Why was it dramatic? Well, it was Panthers going into the Eastern Conference Finals. They were up 3-0 on Carolina. Panthers, talk about a magical postseason run. They've been on it. And they had a chance to sweep in the conference finals to get to their second Stanley Cup finals last night. And they did just that. Thank you to Matthew Tkachuk and his goal with 4.3 seconds left on the clock in the third period.
Hits the post. Going back out in front of it is Tkachuk, who scores!
That place had to have been wild. And do yourself a favor. First off, you should be watching these hockey playoffs. Second, go online and find the videos, not just that video that was TNT, by the way, but find the videos from the fans' perspective. Just from the nosebleeds, from rinkside to everywhere. It is awesome. It's awesome to see that, and the fans going crazy, just look on their face, and you see tears. Some videos, you see people just crying because they were so happy because they knew what that meant. It was like 4.3 seconds left, a goal that goes in. And this isn't a Jared Ather Rand show without the radio call. By the way, I couldn't find the radio for the baseball, but the radio call from the Panther radio network on that goal. I got to tell you, Jimmy, it's a little disappointing. It's not as exciting as I thought it'd be, but it's pretty cool.
Tkachuk out at the right point covering. 15 seconds in regulation. Tkachuk, Reinhart near circle. Reinhart in the circle. Shot, and it's fought off by Anderson. Barkov right circle. Down to the goal line. Tkachuk in front of shot. He scores! He scores! He scores! Matthew Tkachuk, a power play goal! It's 4-3 Panthers with 4.3 seconds to go in regulation time. The Panthers take a 4-3 lead in the waning seconds. A power play goal for Matthew Tkachuk, and the Panthers are 4.3 seconds away from an Eastern Conference championship and a trip to the Stanley Cup final. Can you believe it? When the chips are down, when the stakes are the highest, it's number 19 in red coming through.
That was pretty good.
It was good. I'm just thinking, if it was me, you wouldn't understand what I was saying.
Oh, at 4.3 seconons, my voice.
Oh, you could tell his voice was straining.
I would have went
a
hoarse.
lot. Think about calling it on radio. I mean, on TV, you still hear those guys going and going and going. But on radio, you got to paint that picture. So,
well, those guys on TV get paid more than the radio guys.
I don't know. But it's more satisfying on radio. But they got to paint that picture and constantly talk about what's happening and that's such a fast sport. And give him credit. It's from, I didn't get his name. It's from the WBRA 98.1 there out of Florida Panther Radio Network right there. So that was pretty cool.
What's cool about this team is they've been basically at the bottom for 3/4 of the season.
Yeah.
And to come in and pull the first people they got to play in the playoffs is Boston, who had the best record ever
historically. But yeah,
right.
And
look at them. I think it's great.
Oh, it's that story you love. It's that Matthew Block story that you love. So it's very cool, and they have a chance to. Well, they're in the Stanley Cup finals, awaiting an opponent, Las Vegas Golden Knights, who's up 3-0 over the Dallas Stars. They'll play tonight. The Golden Knights, kind of that team too. It's kind of been red hot on the ice. I was on the Edmonton bandwagon, Edmonton Oilers. And I have been for a few years, ever since the Barons came to Oklahoma City, because that was their farm team. And I was like, okay, I kind of gravitated towards Edmonton. And Barons have since gone, but I still like Edmonton. And I thought Edmonton, when Boston went out, when the defending champs went out, Colorado, that this Stanley Cup is going to be wide open. And so it's Edmonton's to lose. Well, then they go and lose to Vegas. And Vegas looks like the team out of the West. Again, up 3-0 on Dallas. They got a chance to close it out and get back to the Stanley Cup finals in their young franchise history. 9:32. Let's go ahead and take one more time out. We'll come back. We'll talk about what should we talk about? NBA playoffs. That continues tonight with the Heat traveling to Boston. Chance to close out the Celtics, but a lot of people are leaning on the Celtics side to come back and win this series, which I think is crazy. It's crazy enough. Me and Aaron made a burrito bet out of the deal. If I lose, I owe him 2.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who'd you take?
The Heat to close this out. So I'm a big Miami fan tonight.
You better find a special 2 for price of 1.
It's no problem. I think I'm gonna get a free one across the street. Jared Atha filling in for Aaron Kalk. I got Jimmy Clark across the way, helping filling in for me, I guess, and helping me out because I can't do this show alone. People might think, "Oh, radio's easy." It's not, right, Jimmy? Since you've been on radio, since you've come on and done your show, is radio easy?
Not by yourself.
No.
No, but when you got somebody in with you and you having a conversation,
yeah,
it's easier.
Do you just come in and turn on the mic and talk and then go home?
No.
No.
I wish you could. I'd only be here an hour and 5 minutes.
Full disclosure, that's my biggest pet peeve is people think radio is easy. People think that what we do is just the easiest job in the world. There's a lot of behind the
really good.
You were eating that stuff. What do you got there?
New. Hot off the shelf.
This is from our friends at Tucker Family Beef.
Yes.
Got a beef stick here.
I tried the jalapeno before I came in.
You are eating jalapeno in the morning.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad our desks are very close.
I was in the military. You eat what you can when you can.
That's true. That looks good though, man. So you brought me some, right?
I did. Those are yours.
Both of these are mine?
Yep.
Yeah,
hey, guess what?
What's that?
They're all inclusive being sold at the Sayre National.
You're a marketing fool today.
I've learned that from you.
Yeah, very good.
Well, that's where I bought them.
Very good. That's where you bought. That's where you got. You bought them, or you just said I'll pay you later.
I put them on my tab.
Since you're so plugged in there over there at Sayre National, those look good.
Yeah, those are really good. Those are really good. Monty Tucker, you did good. I like them both.
I need to get my order in. I need to get some more beef in my freezer from Tucker Family Beef because some I've had from him is fantastic.
Oh no, it's good.
Does a good job over there. All right, Jimmy. You know, we were kind of, because we have a little bit of time here, we were kind of we're talking off air about, you got a new dog.
I did.
You got a new bird dog.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
got her picture already.
There you go. That's a sport, so we could talk about it. And you're already working with her.
She's 8 weeks old. Her name is Beth. She was flown into Will Rogers from Idaho. It was cheaper to have flown in and go get her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she loved the plane ride. And what's cool is it was an airline stewardess has a puppy. She also has another business called the Airlines Puppy Nanny. So they fly up in the cabin with her, and they don't have to be in cages or nothing. And it's just a lot better relaxing.
Probably. Is it what the dog, does he just, she sitting in the stewardess lap?
She had her, yeah. Well,
or do you have to buy a seat for this dog on the plane?
That part I don't know, but no, she was in the stewardess cabin. She had a litter mate with her too. She left Boise, went to Vegas, went to Houston, dropped a puppy off there, and then come back to Will Rogers and dropped another puppy off.
What if the puppy has to, go?
Potty?
Yeah.
Well, they got a potty pad there.
You just let him go.
Yeah.
Just let her go.
But she said neither one of them did it in flight.
Wow.
That was lucky. So anyway, I got her.
I'd say.
The airlines were kind of messed up Sunday, so my wife, bless her, thank you very much, Sandy, went to Will Rogers to get it because I had the show at noon and brought her back, got here just as the show was over. And she's a wire hair pointing Griffon. We call them Griffs. And they look like German wire hairs, but they're not. They're not even kin, I don't think. But anyway, we went out front right off the bat. I took her out front in the grass, and Gabe wanted to see her, but he was on the phone talking, so I was letting her run around. And she went on point, right out here in front of the studio. And I was going, you silly girl, walked over there, and it was an eggshell from a robin's that just hatched.
Oh, wow.
So she pointed a bird.
Well, that's a bird, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway.
That's awesome.
So last night she slept all night, first
through the thunder and everything.
Everything. Night before, I had to get up and let her go potty twice, and then blah. But anyway, I understand this bird dog pup is 8 weeks old. Yesterday, I said, I'm going to take you on a walk. I'm going to wear you out. Well, a mile and a half later, I was done, and she was still going.
Yeah, those dogs, I think, I bet she slept good.
Yeah, she slept good.
But they don't know when to stop, right? I mean, it's full of energy. And
sometimes you got to stop them.
Yeah, I bet.
But the wire hair pointing Griffon is a versatile dog, which she's good. Zoe, the pup, or the dog I just lost in November, she would hunt anything I want. She would deer, deceased deer. She'd hunt them, and I'd let her hunt. Everybody says, "Oh, you can't let your bird dog chase other things." If you have your bird dog trained and disciplined, you can let them do anything they want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't want them spooking deer where they're not going to come back, or
no. But you know, she's great in the water. She's great with the water dog. She loved pheasant. Her pheasant was her favorite.
Yeah.
Quail. She hunted quail very good, and she's the only dog I ever owned caught a jackrabbit.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's where you keep and mount the jackrabbit.
She rode the swather with me, and so if she's seen something, whether it's a cottontail, a rat, or whatever, I'd stop, let her jump out the swather, go chase until I'd just call her back. She was after this jackrabbit out there in that field, Joey and Kelly Riptoes, for about a minute and a half. I was getting ready to call her off. It was 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And these are hot. These are very cold weather dogs. And the jackrabbit zigged when it should have zagged. Boom.
Rolled over and just grabbed and rolled. And just,
I'm excited about this year. As you know, I'm one of the officers in our North Fork Quail Forever chapter.
Yeah.
We've got 4 counties here in western Oklahoma. And reports I've got and what I'm seeing, a lot of pairs of quail are running around, and it's
this weather definitely helps when you get all this moisture.
Yeah, the 8-inch doesn't.
No, that can wash out. But I saw my kids during the summer. They stay at a place that is north of Canute, a few miles, and I saw 4. Run across the road and kind of running parallel to the road when I was driving. There's some, but. I mean, definitely, what constitutes a covey, I'm not sure. How many is a...
Well, there's no there shouldn't be any coveys right now. They're all pairs. And But anyway, so far, roadside count from friends of mine and everywhere, we're seeing birds, which is great. It's great for this. We've quail since the 90s. It's just flip a coin.
Right. I remember you could go out, check cattle, walk through the brush, boom. I mean,
you didn't even have to have a bird dog.
No. But now it's so sparse.
Now you better have a good one.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Beth is, I'll keep you guys up to date.
You should. Keep us updated. And I know you like to put stuff on the KCO Facebook page. And, keep us updated on Beth, you say?
Beth.
Keep us updated.
It's not Beth Dutton off of Yellowstone. And some of you guys are probably too young, but everybody remember the song from the 70s from the band Kiss? Beth. That's who I named it after.
Very good.
Yeah. So
I didn't take you as being a fan of Kiss.
Well, back in the day, I was in high school then, okay? If you wanted to hang out with the ladies, you went to the Kiss concert.
Did you paint your face like Gene Simmons?
No.
You didn't paint your face?
But my girlfriend did.
Oh, my goodness.
I was an Aerosmith. Cheap Trick guy.
Yeah.
I was Aerosmith Cheap Trick guy.
Kiss is down on my list. It's not off my list. It's just, but you mentioned I like Aerosmith. They're about to go on a farewell tour, by the way.
Yep.
Cheap Trick, sure. Yeah. They're big in Japan. Do you know that?
Cheap Tricks from right up here north of us at St. Joe, Missouri. And first concert I actually went to was Cheap Trick, and that guy busting that guitar on stage, I was a fan forever, and I got to see, who else was it? Kansas,
yeah.
And so it was good. And but anyway, it was that's who she's named after, not Beth Dutton.
Not Beth Dutton.
Yeah, I bet everybody misses that one. But anyway, If you guys are into bird hunting and you got rid of your bird dogs last year, go ahead and go find you another. And there's going to be some quail this year.
Awesome. Again, looking forward to seeing Beth and grow up and
she's going to hang out in the studio. Don't worry.
Yep. Hey, softball.
I know,
We're big softball fans. I am, obviously, as a girl dad. I've gravitated to that sport, having a lot of fun coaching my kids and other girls, and and then of course it really helps when you're an OU fan nowadays, because the OU softball team has been dominant, and we are in Super Regional weekend. It's another step towards the College World Series. The two state schools, OU and OSU, both hosting Super Regionals. OU hosting Clemson. That doesn't start until tomorrow with Game 1, Saturday Game 2, then if necessary on Sunday. OSU, though, only 2 Super Regionals are starting today. One of those is OSU. They are hosting Oregon, who's coming in with a 38-15 record. Oklahoma State, I think they're off that little snide that they were on where they lost like 13 of 14 games. They've bounced back nicely.
Glad.
Yeah, they ran through their regional last weekend, and now they host Oregon, who's come in, an unranked Oregon team, by the way. Very formidable opponent, but they got to come to Stillwater, and they play tonight at 8 o'clock for Game 1, Game 2 tomorrow at 5. I guess the big question, I kind of alluded to this before we went to break, is the weather. What's the weather going to look like up in Stillwater? Will they get any of this rain?
It's 8 o'clock tonight, right?
8 o'clock tonight. They might dodge.
I'm on it.
Excuse me.
I'm on it.
The weather bullet, but while you do that, I'm going to bring up a radar and just see, you can do that future radar and see if anything's going to go up there Stillwater way. And I'm sure they have tarps that will cover it, so I don't think anything before the game.
Good.
You think it's all good to go?
They're good to go tonight. They don't even have any rain today in Stillwater.
It's just all going to stop before it even gets there.
Yep.
Well, good deal. So Kenny Gajewski having a great season again. Again, they went lost 13 of 14, but have bounced back nicely from that one. And you're at home, protecting home field advantage, all that. I don't see. If it's me, I think they go a full 3 games here. To be honest with you, what do you think?
I think so.
You think they'll split in the first 2, but I think they get it done in Game 3. That's my prediction. If it's worth anything. OSU
has got the defense, they got the offense, but I don't think OSU's got the pitching staff to play against.
They are young, their pitching staff, but sometimes I think that could be an advantage. Hearing Coach Gajewski on yesterday with Jim and Al, and he kind of alluded to this, where you got your senior leaders who are used to the big spotlight, used to the national television, understanding the gravity of the game, the hugeness, how big it is, win here, loss there, whatever. They understand that. But sometimes you get freshmen like that, and I use this term not in a disparaging way, but they're naive enough to just go out there and play softball or play the sport. Like, it's because it's new to them. And they're like, oh, okay, that's a camera, whatever. Or, they just go out there, pitch a good game, and just say, hey, try to hit it. That's what Coach Gajewski was kind of relaying back to Jim and Al yesterday, and that makes total sense. So, yeah, you can look at it one way of saying, well, that's a freshman, and I forget her name, but she's a freshman. This is a big stage. She could get rattled. I like the way he's looking at it. It's like, she's a freshman. She doesn't know what the big stage is, and she's a good pitcher.
Right.
I like that approach, and I think that's a big advantage when you do that at home.
Right.
You could see it being a problem on the road, fans going crazy, out of your environment. I mean, imagine if this is up in Oregon, it's probably, 50 degrees and probably wet and rainy as it is here. I mean, this might be more like Oregon weather right now.
Might be an advantage to
Might be an advantage to Oregon. But she is at home. They're all at home, so I don't see any problem.
Nah, I don't either.
Right
look at the real deal from OU. Man, she just comes out there and smokes them, and she's a freshman. True freshman.
Yeah. The other regional, by the way, is Florida State hosting, number 3 Florida State hosting Georgia. Something to keep an eye on. Let me look up the time on
6
that
o'clock.
Super Regional. Is that 6 o'clock our time?
Yep, 6 o'clock.
Okay. So one to keep an eye on. And, the other super regionals, I'll go through them here. Of course, Norman in Norman, Oklahoma, hosting Clemson. That starts tomorrow, Saturday if necessary, going to Sunday. And I think I said that wrong earlier with Oklahoma State. Today's game 1, tomorrow's game 2, if necessary, is on Saturday. In Durham, North Carolina, Duke is hosting Stanford. That's an 8-9 seed matchup. And Tuscaloosa, Alabama, hosting Northwestern. That's a 5-12 matchup. Number 4, Tennessee, hosting Texas, another Big 12 team, the national runner-up from last year. Watch that game. Watch that series. I'm not writing Texas off just yet.
No.
I mentioned Florida State and Oklahoma State. Those are the only two starting today. Washington is hosting an unranked Louisiana team up in Seattle.
Watch that game.
You think so?
Louisiana is the sleeper.
There we go. And how about the darlings of this tournament, the Cinderellas, if you will, is
Utes.
San Diego State going to Utah, 15th ranked Utah, 15th seeded Utah. San Diego State, a part of that regional that saw UCLA, the number 2 seed, go down. I meant to bring this question up on Monday. We just ran out of time with Jim, and I'll ask you. Is UCLA going down bad for multiple reasons? One, for OU and their mindset moving forward, let's say they get past Clemson and they go to the College World Series, and then they see the other participants, and none of them are the Bruins. Does that make sense? Like they go, this is ours. Because our one challenge could be UCLA. But, yes, they run-rolled them early in the year. But UCLA going, you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Or is it a good? And then is it a bad thing on the perception? Let's say OU goes and wins their 3rd in a row, and they go, and the perception is, that was the year UCLA they got upset. They weren't challenged.
I see that. I see people lipping that off because UCLA ain't there, but you got to look here. We got Florida State still in here, and Florida State's always been a challenge in
a team Oklahoma beat.
Yeah, and Tennessee, the Lady Volunteers have been great all year. I think they're one of the better teams out there all year. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and bet you a burrito. Maybe you could use my burrito to pay Aaron's burrito.
What's the bet?
My bet is that the finals this year is going to be OU and Utah.
I'll take that bet all day.
Okay.
I don't think it will be Utah.
All right.
I think Utah will get there, but I don't see.
It's probably going to be Tennessee or Florida State, but Utah is playing. They're coming off of beating UCLA. But here's the deal: I think UCLA's been overrated all year long. I really have. Yes, they got one of the best pitchers in softball right now.
Yeah, they won. They beat UCLA to win the Pac-12 title.
And
that's another thing people are failing to realize. UCLA was not playing their best ball. But towards the end of this year,
Utah also beat UCLA in their
regular season.
Yeah, so one game at least. But anyway, I don't know. I'm going with OU and Utah, and it'll probably be, like I said, either one of the other two.
I'm not ready to pick who's going to be participating with OU in the finals. But it just feels like that's inevitable. But I'll wait until next week when we see who's participating. But if you're already wanting to make that bet before the Super Regional even starts, I can't help but take that bet.
Okay, bring it on.
Yeah.
But OU, you get back to the OU UCLA deal. I'm a super big OU fan. You know that, as big as you are. But OU is, I think this is their best team ever. They got it all. Pitching.
Best team ever? Really?
I think it's one of the best teams ever because they just don't have one girl on offense knocking home runs.
I've been saying that all season long. You're right.
But they have a full pitching staff.
Yeah.
They can resort to anybody they want. And, when we won year before last, the championship, we depended on, what's her name, Juarez. She had to come in and pitch all the time. We can throw anybody on the mound right now.
Yeah, it was very telling when, help me with a young lady's name who got hurt. She's a good pitcher.
Ball.
Jordy. Yeah, Jordy Ball.
Fireball.
When she got injured
last year,
and then Gasso having to kind of, was kind of pitching by committee and was able to navigate that. And Jordy did come in at times in spurts.
A little bit.
But she wasn't that dominant Jordy that we'd seen all season long up before the injury. You're right. I mean, that was kind of telling for me, like, it's not just a one pitching show.
And see,
for
and last year we had.
And that's nice to have in the game of softball. You can ride that pitcher all season long, barring any kind of severe injury, which what happened to OU last year. But they had so many good pitchers behind her, and that's a good point.
We got
and on the offensive side, I mean, there's the offense up and down the lineup.
There's 5 girls on the team right now with more than 10 home runs.
It's fantastic, and it's not like it was when it was Kalani Ricketts or Chamberlain, or the list goes on and on, where there's always that one. It's kind of like OU football with a running back. It just seemed like there's always that next guy up. There's always a dominant running back. That was the star of the offense, and lately quarterback. It's in that's kind of how it was with the OU softball. Was there's always that one hitter that everybody stopped. Jocelyn Allo. They stopped what they were doing to watch Jocelyn Allo at bat because she had a chance to hit a home run literally
every time
swing.
at bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
there's
she
not
almost
that,
did.
Yeah, and there's not really that this year. There's not that dominant batter, but they have a dominant lineup up and down the lineup.
Well, look what they did with OSU in Bedlam. They were down
twice,
and they got to the last inning, and they're in the middle, towards the back of the lineup. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, you want that. You want to be challenged, and there was that talk of, they're on this run. Have how many wins in a row right now? Without looking up, it's in the 40s, I believe.
46.
It's incredible, and there's
record's 47. If they win tomorrow, they tie it.
The national record,
yes.
the NCAA record is 47.
Yep.
How funny is that? OU.
That's
OU and 47, right?
That's a good question right there. We got just a few minutes here. That's a good question Dakota asked about why our D1 program so slow at starting softball program. I wondered that earlier this year, because
what's the question? I'm reading it now. They only started Clemson's only started a program in 2017. Why are D1 programs so slow at starting a softball program?
It's money, I think.
It's a great question. It might be the distribution of money, where people feel like, once upon a time, long time ago, right before a woman named Sherry Cole took over the OU basketball program, that basketball program was about to be cut.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It was about to be hacked because it wasn't good. Nobody was going. It was losing money. And then Sherry Cole was hired, and the rest is history. The wins came. They got to Final Fours. Baranchek, I think, is going to keep that going. She seems to be building the program or keeping the program at a high level. But I think it has to do with money. The sport right now is becoming so popular that you're going to see more and more. And I am honestly, Dakota from the text line, I'm shocked that I didn't know that about Clemson not having 2000 or a softball program.
Title IX
pre 2017, and Title IX has something to do with it too. You got to even out the participation chances for men and women. So funny how Title IX reads one way, but then we got swimmers. Never mind.
So how many? Let's see. We got Kansas. K-State doesn't have a girls softball team, do they? Yeah, they do, don't they? And then
I don't know.
No. And then Texas Tech does, obviously.
But think about this: Iowa State does not play baseball.
No.
I mean, how crazy is that? Field of Dreams was filmed in Iowa. Yeah. And Iowa State
but
doesn't
they got a
play
softball
baseball.
team.
But they do have a softball team.
Yeah.
It's all about money is really what it points to for me. But back to my point, this is good. Kansas, but Kansas State's what we're asking on the text line. Yeah, we know Kansas has softball. I can't remember if Kansas State does. I think they do. But the popularity of the sport is becoming so big. I think more and more universities are seeing that there is money to be made. If you can build a successful program, people want to go. They'll go, whatever the sport is. And right now, the softball sport in itself has become so popular. It's become, when it comes around the World Series time, I mean, I have every game on that I possibly can, because then there's that high level of softball you just love to see. Speaking of which, I just remembered this, and I've been meaning to look this up. UCO softball is in the D2 National Championship tournament.
Wasn't they last year too?
I don't know if it was last year
or the year before.
I know it might have been the year before, but they've been playing really, really well. The reason I bring them up, obviously, because they're out of – I got to get there. They're out of Oklahoma.
Yep.
Again, another fine example of Oklahoma is the mecca of softball, because every team, it feels like at every level is playing – college level is playing at a high level. Another reason is this name might be familiar with some from Western Oklahoma, especially from Clinton, where I'm from. John Hunter is basically the first assistant on that team for the softball team. Great coach, great guy, great family. I know them since I was first grade. My best friend is his brother. So John Hunter having great success as a softball coach at UCO, the first assistant over there. And they're on their way. They actually play today at 3 o'clock against Nova Southeastern. UCO is the 2 seed in this national tournament. So going to keep tabs on that one and see how UCO does.
Year before last.
It's the year before last.
We had 3 national champions from the state of Oklahoma.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah, the other one was from up there around Miami or somewhere up there.
Was it NEO?
Yeah.
Was it NEO?
Yeah, anyway,
very good.
It's good. It's great.
Yep. Hey, 10 o'clock. We got to get out of here. Jimmy, thanks for being on.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for helping me out, as always. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you to head coach Zach Maynard, Elk City High School football coach. Thank you to him for coming on in. A reminder, no spring game tonight. They were planning on doing something tonight. It's not happening because of the rain. The success will happen with the Elk City football program. I can guarantee you that. Hey, Aaron will be back tomorrow. Have a good Thursday.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way